I never thought I'd uncover something that would completely change how I saw the people living next door. My name's Claire, and for most of my life, I believed I lived in one of the quietest, safest neighborhoods you could imagine. We all trusted each other. We shared baked goods during the holidays, helped shovel snow off each other's driveways, and waved at every passing car. But behind one of those friendly smiles was a web of lies so tangled, it almost destroyed an innocent family. And it all started with a forgotten diary. Our neighbors, the Harrisons, had moved in about 4 years ago. John and Emily Harrison were the kind of couple that made everyone else look bad. He was a firefighter, always seen in uniform, strong and dependable. Emily was a schoolteacher, warm, soft-spoken, and always ready with cookies for the neighborhood kids. They were the perfect couple next door. Or at least, that's what we all thought. They had one daughter, Lily, who was around 10 at the time. She was shy, quiet, and always seemed to be looking over her shoulder, like she was afraid of something. I figured she was just timid. After all, not every child is outgoing. But there were small things that didn't quite add up. Late at night, I'd sometimes hear shouting coming from their house. Once, I even saw Emily standing in her yard at midnight, staring blankly at the woods behind our homes, clutching her phone like she was waiting for someone to call. When I asked her about it the next morning, she smiled too quickly and said, "Oh, just couldn't sleep." Something in her eyes told me there was more to it. Then, one morning in late autumn, everything changed. I was cleaning out my garage when I found an old cardboard box near the curb. It had been left by the trash bins, rain-soaked and falling apart. It had the Harrisons' address written on the side in black marker. Normally I wouldn't snoop, but the box looked like it contained personal stuff. Books, papers, even a photo frame. I decided to take it to their house before the garbage truck arrived. When I rang their bell, no one answered. The house looked quiet, blinds drawn, and I noticed John's truck wasn't in the driveway. I figured they'd gone out of town, so I left the box by their porch. But as I turned to leave, I heard a soft thump. Something had fallen out. A small leather-bound diary, soaked but still intact. The name Lily was written on the inside cover in neat handwriting. I hesitated. I knew it was wrong to look, but something in me, maybe curiosity, maybe concern, made me flip it open. The first few pages were harmless, the kind of things any 10-year-old might write, stories about her day, her favorite teachers, her dreams of becoming a painter. But about halfway through, the tone changed. The handwriting became shaky. There were lines like, "Mom cried again tonight. Dad said it's my fault. I saw Mom's phone light up, and she threw it in the sink." And then one entry that made my heart stop cold. "Mrs. Claire next door said she liked Dad's garden. He told Mom she was imagining things again. But I saw her crying after." That line froze me. Was Lily writing about me? I tried to recall every conversation I'd had with John Harrison, maybe a few casual chats about his plants, but nothing else. Still, something didn't feel right. The diary hinted at constant fighting, manipulation, and something darker, emotional abuse. I decided to hold on to the diary until I could talk to Emily directly. But before I could, the neighborhood exploded with news. Emily and Lily had disappeared. The police arrived that evening. Sirens, flashing lights, the whole street outside my window. I learned that John had reported them missing that morning. He told the officers that Emily had been acting unstable lately, and that she'd probably taken Lily somewhere out of state. Everyone believed him. He was the calm, rational firefighter with a grieving husband's face. But the diary told a very different story. I didn't know what to do. Should I give it to the police? What if it wasn't evidence? What if I was just misunderstanding a scared kid's writing? But then, as the days passed and Emily and Lily were nowhere to be found, my gut told me this wasn't just a misunderstanding. Something terrible had happened. 3 nights later, I woke up to a rustling sound just outside my window. I peeked through the blinds and saw someone in the Harrisons' backyard. A figure in a hooded sweatshirt, holding a flashlight. At first I figured it was John, still looking for clues. But then the light hit the person's face, and my blood ran cold. It was Emily. I ran outside, barefoot, my heart pounding in my chest. She jumped when she saw me, then put a finger to her lips. "Claire, please, don't scream," she whispered urgently. Her face was pale, her eyes red and swollen. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. "Emily, everyone's looking for you. What is going on?" I whispered back, completely bewildered. She just shook her head, glancing back at the house nervously. "He lied," she said. "He told the police I ran away. But I didn't. I had to leave. For Lily." She motioned for me to follow her deeper into the shadows. "He's not who you think he is," she said, her voice trembling. "He's been lying to everyone, even about his job. He's not a firefighter anymore. He was fired months ago." My head was spinning. "What are you talking about?" She pulled a folded piece of paper from her coat pocket. It was an official letter from the fire department, terminating John's employment for misconduct and falsified records. According to Emily, John had been living a double life. He was caught stealing money from a charity fund at the station and forging signatures. He tried to convince Emily to lie for him, but when she refused, he became violent. That's when she started secretly packing, planning to escape with Lily. But the night before she was supposed to go, he found out. Emily told me she managed to escape while John was passed out drunk, taking Lily to a friend's house in another town. She only came back tonight for one thing: Lily's diary. "It's the only proof I have," she whispered, her eyes pleading. My stomach dropped. "I found it," I admitted, pulling it from my own coat. Her hands trembled as she took it. "Thank God," she breathed. This has everything." Lily saw things she wasn't supposed to. She wrote down everything. But before we could say anything else, headlights swept across the driveway. It was John's truck. Emily's face went white. "He's back," she gasped. I grabbed her hand and pulled her toward my garage. We hid behind my car, hearts pounding as John slammed his truck door. He was shouting her name, his voice slurred with anger. "Emily! You think you can just leave me? You'll regret this!" He stormed into his house, leaving the front door wide open. "You need to go. Now," I whispered. Emily nodded, tears streaming down her face. I helped her over the back fence, and she vanished into the darkness. That was the last time I saw her in person. The next morning, I went straight to the police with the diary and the termination letter. At first, they were skeptical. To them, John was still the beloved local hero. But once they checked the records, everything unraveled. Not only was he fired for fraud, but he was also under investigation for embezzlement. But it was the diary that truly exposed him. Lily had written down dates, times, arguments, even phone calls she'd overheard. It painted a clear, terrifying picture of a manipulative liar who had built his perfect image on deception. A week later, the police found Emily and Lily, safe at a women's shelter. John was arrested for fraud, domestic violence, and obstruction of justice. When the news broke, a hush fell over our neighborhood. The perfect family was just a carefully crafted illusion. Months passed. The Harrisons' house was sold. Emily never came back, but she sent me a handwritten note. It said, "Thank you for trusting a little girl's words. The truth was hidden in plain sight, and you gave us a chance to start over." Tucked inside was a photo of Lily, smiling and holding a paintbrush. Sometimes, when I walk past that house, I still think about that night. It makes me wonder how many secrets lie behind closed doors, hidden beneath perfect smiles and polite hellos. We think we know our neighbors, but we're often only seeing the story they want us to believe. That diary didn't just expose a liar, it saved 2 lives. Thanks for listening to my story. If you found this compelling, please hit that like button and subscribe for more. Stay safe, and always be aware of what's happening around you.